Hello, and welcome to the topic, what is TTA and how to make it work for you through the RISE Rural Telementoring Project. My name is Laura Potter, and I'm a program director with Cardea and a member of the RTTC Training and Technical Assistance team, which provides RISE for rural telementoring. I'll also be providing support to any learning partners that reach out for individual consultation or technical assistance. So I look forward to working with you all in the future. At this time, I'd like to pass things over to my colleague, Melanie.
Thank you, Laura. My name is Melanie Ogleton, and I'm Chief Strategy Officer at Cardea, and also a member of the Rural Telementoring Training Center that provides resources, information, support, and education, or RISE, that you'll see us referencing for rural telementoring. Just to share that we'll reference RTTC throughout our discussion to make it easier to follow along. And in my capacity, I support the RTTC team with training and technical assistance implementation. So Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you to kick us off with our first question.
Yes, thanks, Melanie. So let's go ahead and start by answering what is TTA. So Melanie?
Great question, Laura. TTA, which you'll see throughout our materials, information, and resources, stands for Training and Technical Assistance. And the goal of TTA is to help individuals and organizations, who we call our learning partners, understand telementoring options and provide guidance to support implementation, evaluation, and importantly, sustainability of telementoring programs for rural healthcare workers. For RTTC, learning partners have access to the 6 telementoring modalities that you see here projected on the screen. And the telementoring options include community health clubs, individual consultation or TA, Project Echo, online modules, and curricula podcast webinars. Trainings on these modalities are provided through a series of self-paced online curricula and online resources, meaning you can access them at a time and space convenient for you or your team. The current trainings offered are meant to provide a basic level, what we're calling a 101 level understanding of each modality. And the goal of each course is to ensure and to just help you explore if telementoring is a good fit to address a health gap or capacity need, or multiple needs, perhaps. In addition, we also provide individual consultation or technical assistance, and this is another option that we can explore with our learning partners. The individualized technical assistance provides a deeper level of customized support. That's key here. It's customized support that will help you assess system or organizational readiness, choose the right modality or perhaps a blend of modalities, launch or expand your program, and measure and sustain its impact over time. The individual TA also assists with providing subject matter expertise across the 5 telementoring modalities and helps the learner to build off of their knowledge base. So we work hand in hand with you to develop a more customized approach to the training and technical assistance modalities that we've discussed. Laura, now I'd like to turn things over to you. Who is a good candidate for training in TA?
What another great question. In case you're wondering, am I a good fit? The answer is probably yes. So who is a good candidate for TTA? Any learning partner, which includes individuals and organizations working with rural communities interested in learning more about telementoring and how to implement a telementoring program. We also work with learning partners to address already identified health gaps or capacity gaps to create and launch or even maybe expand existing programs. And throughout this process, we thought about the needs of those working and being served in these non-urban communities. The Health Resources and Services Administration, better known as HRSA, defines rural to include all people, housing, and territory that are not within an urban area. So any area that is not urban is rural. And we expanded this definition to include frontier areas along the borders, tribal areas, and suburban living. So we really wanted to make sure we were taking a holistic approach. And if you were wondering if you're a good fit, if you're touching any of these communities, or maybe even ones we didn't touch on today, it's likely you'll be a good fit. So always feel free to reach out and ask. Throughout this process, we also kept in mind barriers that could potentially inhibit access to those receiving telementoring in these areas. So we wanted to be mindful and give attention to cultural influences from a number of contexts, including language, framing, and organizational or system relevance. With that said, our next question is, Melanie, can you help us understand how we came up with the approach to building the RTTC online courses.
Sure. Let me try to explain to our audience how we approached it. We were thoughtful in the design and the framework that we chose, and opted to use the framework ADDIE. So ADDIE stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate, or ADDIE. ADDIE is an instructional design model simply used to help us think through the course's design. It provided that logical framework to help us think through content to implementation. In addition, we also ensured careful attention to equity to ensure that what we were developing had broad applicability that considered the many environments and contexts in which telementoring programs would operate. So in addition to ADDIE, for the learning methodology, we chose to focus on what the learner needs to know and what the learner needs to remember. And we kept in mind, to do this, we kept in mind the underlying principles of adult learning theory, even in a virtual setting, focusing on the most relevant information, using modern ways of learning, and giving our learning partners options and offering help and mentorship throughout the TTA process. At the same time, we recognize the diversity of needs of those working in rural communities and in healthcare. So going back to the equity consideration, in addition to equity, a number of principles also guided our approach. These included attention to readiness, accessibility, and replication and scalability. We were also mindful of the need for flexibility and recognized online learning could reach a vast audience of learners, while the individualized consultation could allow for more customized telementoring, meeting specific needs of you, our learning partner, potential learning partner, and your audience. And since we know in this time, many of us are managing competing priorities at work, asynchronous learning was important for us, simply meaning we leverage the use of online curricula as an approach that would allow learning partners to access and progress through the material at their convenience. Again, that self-paced component that I discussed previously. And the use of online learning for the RTTC program also allowed for the trainings to be learner-centered, engaging, and interactive. So you'll see throughout the courses that we built in moments of reflection and other ways that you can engage with content, particularly as it relates to your environments in which the telementoring modality would operate. So with all that being shared and discussed, how do you determine if our TTA is right for you?
So folks might still be wondering, is this a good fit for me? So there are some questions you can ask yourself to determine if perhaps TTA is a good fit. And so here are some questions you might want to think about. Are you looking to enhance rural patients' access to quality care using telementoring and innovative technological solutions? Are you located in a rural healthcare setting and seeking ways to support workforce development and training? I just want to pause here to remind folks that we did discuss what rural could look like. So there are lots of versions of rural. And so to be mindful and really assess where you're at, because we might really be a great fit for you. In addition, you could ask, would you like to learn about how to use telecommunication technology for delivery of professional training, education, and support? Or would you like to receive free tools, training, and consultation to help establish a telementoring program? If you're not sure, we definitely encourage you to reach out through the individual consultation. We would love to touch base with you and assess where you're at and talk more about your healthcare gap that you're perhaps seeing or wanting to address. So if you'd like to, reach out, we'd love to hear from you. Please connect with us to explore more opportunities for the TTA offered through the RTTC. Thank you.